What did we just watch? That might be the greatest game in Inter Miami history in terms of an on-field performance. I was resigned after 10 minutes that we weren't going to make it through, but this team never quit. An unbelievable, I think, 80 minutes to move past LAFC with a 3-1 victory. Sor, my co-host, my friend, I'm going to let you talk because I have to gather my thoughts. So go ahead. What do you think?
No, keep talking. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I don't have words.
Incredible. What a game. I genuinely thought that the Ustadi lack of punch, he punches it instead of catching it, and then Yannick Bright is clearly out of position. It's a goal for Aaron Long, and I thought, stop. I can't. I don't know where to start.
For 10 seconds, just complete silence. We're in the semi-final of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. That's it. That's all we need to say. Nothing more needs to be said. That's it. We're in the semi-finals, and nobody can take that from us. No VAR, no referee, no Nathan Ordaz, no Denny Bouanga. This is it.
You know what that handball was? That was ball doesn't lie. For the lack of a red card in the first game, for a questionable offsides on that third Suarez goal. Ultimately, karma comes back Inter Miami's way. LAFC with a handball that gives Lionel Messi the penalty kick. And I'll be honest with you, I trust Messi more than any penalty kicker in the world. And even I was still very nervous about him putting it in the back of the net. Inter Miami gets the 3-1 victory. This is the raw reaction. I don't think we could analyze much because I am so excited right now. I have been through a train of emotions over the last 90 minutes plus, hour and 10 minutes since the start of the game. This was an incredible game from Inter Miami, an incredibly resilient moment from these players that have seen things go wrong and them not be able to answer in some of the biggest games over the past 12 months. And this was redemption for all of that. Inter Miami, as you said, goes on to the semifinal. Their opponent will be decided in the next 2 hours. Vancouver versus Pumas. They are playing in Mexico right now. And I wish I could watch that game, but I am so excited. And actually, I think I need right now to be talking with you and you guys in the chat because that was exhilarating, nervy, scared, emotional, fun. And that is everything that being a fan is about. It was never supposed to be easy because if it was easy, it wouldn't feel like this. Inter Miami through to the semifinal. What a game. What a game.
I still don't have words because I'm reeling. I'll be honest, I don't even know what game I watched. I don't know who played well. I don't know who played badly. I don't know what the tactics were. What was going on, because I was watching this game from a fifth dimension. It was just so hard to watch us constantly throw the kitchen sink at this LAFC defense and just nothing sticking for the first 30 minutes. Then Lionel Messi has a moment of magic like he always does and pulls us into the brink of a comeback. And then when that Suarez goal got called offside, I have a tweet in my drafts that I wanted to send out. And I said, at this point, you can't even fight destiny. Like, you can't. And I thought to myself, you know what? Let's hold up before I send that out. There's still plenty of time. That penalty was absolutely bold, don't lie. But Jesus, I've never been this nervous watching a penalty kick. It was the repeat of the World Cup final, Messi versus Hugo Lloris. And it went down the exact same way. Javi Mascherano, hats off to you for the way you managed this game. We were absolutely in hell for the first 10, 15 minutes because everything that could have gone wrong was going wrong. Cello Wigan was getting rinsed by Denny Bouanga, worse than Gonzalo Lujan. Do you want to now alter your rankings of our right backs? Because that was really poor, at least in the first 15 minutes.
I don't think we should talk about Lujan. Cello. I don't think we should talk about the Ustadi. Ustadi was, by the way, phenomenal in the last 10, 15 minutes of the game. Well, certainly Messi's going to get man of the match because he had 2 goals, and I think he gets an assist for the for the Noah Allen goal, although we'll see how the record keepers take charge of that one. But Ustadi, phenomenal in the last 10 minutes. He had one on Bouanga and a couple of really nice quick reactions on corners from Hollingshead especially. But the one from Bouanga, two actually from Bouanga, one on the header where it's really fingertip save, and then he has to stand tall when Bouanga gets past Maxi Falcone, stand tight, and that's exactly what he does. Oscar Ustadi, incredible down the stretch. Cello, he was fine. I don't have anything to say about Cello. He was good. I'm fine with Cello. Maxi Falcone, I think I liked Maxi Falcone in this game, and he's a good player, but I think for the first time I'm like, all of the charisma, all of the passion, all of the hair, like it got to me in a way that it hasn't yet, where I was like, this all is perfect. He was awesome. Noah Allen, also on a different day, a contender for the man of the match. He is amazing. And if we were not so hyped up right now, we might be spending more time talking about him. His interchange as a center back, getting forward and helping Jordi Alba create offense down that left side. It was incredible.
And scored a goal. In my eyes, he scored a goal.
Jordi Alba wasn't getting the space down the left side, just like in the first game, so he starts cutting into the midfield. He starts maneuvering in ways to find an opportunity to make an impact in this game, and an impact he has. I thought Segovia had some sharp moments. I thought Tadeo Allende was fine, and I think his vertical presence did make a little bit of a difference when we needed it, especially when we were trying to play out of pressure. Yannick Bright, I thought, ignoring the first goal because I don't want to talk about that because I'm so happy right now. I thought he had a really important game. I hope he's healthy. He came off because it looked like he pulled a hamstring or a groin or something. Federico Redondo, no problem with you. I'm very happy. Luis Suarez, I'm happy. And then Lionel Messi, dude. Wow. Lionel Messi. The first goal was incredible. And then the confidence and the composure to lead this team back. I mean, it wasn't just the goals. It was almost every positive action for this team. Started with Lionel Messi getting on the ball. Warrior, champion. One of the things I always say when Inter Miami loses in a tournament like this is that something along the lines of winners win. If you wanted to be the champion, you have to go prove it in the moment. And this was their opportunity to prove it. And against Atlanta, they didn't. Against Columbus in the Leagues Cup last year, they couldn't. Against Monterrey last year, it didn't happen. Tonight, they proved it. They did what champions do. They went out. They got the result they needed. They never quit. They fought till the end, and they get the result, and they're moving on to the semifinals.
Now, do you agree with me that every single
smiling.
player on this Inter Miami team is better than the LAFC team? Like, we absolutely decimated them in the last 60 minutes of this game. This could have easily been a 5-1 game, and it would have been a non-factor. But obviously, it's never easy when it's a tough opposition, and you want to win these games this way because otherwise the feeling would not be the same. And I'm still trying to find words, man. I know we're doing a podcast here, but I'm still trying to find words that are PG-13 and they would not get me kicked out and not get our video copyrighted or whatever because... Jesus, that was some game. All right, let's start with the beginning because
No. Let's get to the chat. No,
Okay.
I don't want to talk about the beginning. I really don't. We can break it down in the game recap because I think there is a lot of things to talk about. But I am so excited right now, and this is about emotion. This is about raw reactions, and we want to share it with you guys. So, Sora, we will get to everything, I'm sure, as the chat gets going. But Janet says, wow, love it. Smiles everywhere. She says that we're beaming. I'll be honest, I can't stop smiling. SD says, Messi, wow. INX says, this match will go to the books. Genuinely, this is with the Leagues Cup 2023 final, with the semifinal of the U.S. Open Cup, and with last year's win over Columbus that clinched the Supporters' Shield. These four are the best four games in Inter Miami history, in my opinion, and this may be the top. I'm so happy right now, man. I can't even explain it. Where does this rank for you in terms of your favorite game of all time for Inter Miami?
right now, number one. I don't care about anything that's happened before today. This is genuinely the best game I've ever watched. It was worthy of a final. Every single minute of this was worthy of a final. The drama, the lead change that happened, that should have happened a couple of times but didn't happen, the offside, the calls, the fight, the physicality, the goals. Some of the goals were absolutely fantastic. Some of them were scrappy, and it took some guts and character to get out, blood, sweat, and tears, and that's what we left on the pitch. Every single one that started today needs to get a rest on Sunday. I don't want to see any of them starting. Like, they need to be put in a glass box and protected for whoever our next opponent is. It was brilliant. It was fantastic. I don't have any words to describe how well we actually gelled as a team, and it wasn't even like a pretty win where you could see Inter Miami dominating LAFC with talent. It was gritty. Like, you could see they had to dig deep down to
Yeah.
try and pull themselves back from the abyss, because at one point it genuinely looked like we didn't have an answer to LAFC's counterattack. And then we started actually playing, and then we pushed up, and then Javier Mascherano made a tweak in the formation where Allende started playing more centrally. Messi started playing wide, and this is for the first time this season that Messi played on the right and looked absolutely unplayable, and this team started to click more. Second half, in the 50th minute, from the 50th to the 70th minute, Telasco Segovia was doing stuff with Messi and Suarez that I have not seen him do this entire season. And I was thinking to myself, where is this coming from? And then it started to click together, because you have one decision go against you and you're thinking, okay, this is we're going to fight the system. We're going to come back. Then you score a goal. Then you go score another one that goes in, but then gets called off for offside, which was absolutely BS. And then you're wondering, is this our night or not? And then the ball doesn't lie when it hits that defender's hand. And after that is just game management. So overall, the full 90-minute experience of this game is potentially the best 90 minutes I've watched from Inter Miami. David Beckham was losing his mind. Javier Mascherano probably should have been booked like 50 times with how much screaming he was doing. Someone should have been sent off in this game, whether it was an Inter Miami player or whether it was an LAFC player, because I don't know how all 11 players were on that pitch. They got into a huge fight, and the ref was like, you know what, just have fun. It was just a game and a half of football, man, worthy of a final. And honestly, before we actually talk about Inter Miami, hats off to LAFC, man.
Yeah.
They came out to play. They did not sit down, hunker down. They could have easily made an absolute snooze fest of this game, but they wanted it as much as Inter Miami, and they were great opposition. And I'm just glad we're not going to see them in the regular season. But honestly, I'd love to play them in the MLS final. Bring on the MLS Cup final, and that would be fantastic. What a fantastic game of football tonight.
Yeah, let's just give LAFC their props. They did not make, I don't think, a single mistake for the first 172 minutes of this tie until the handball, and it was the one mistake they made over 2 games that ruined their chances. They were really good. The environment in LA was incredible, and it's opponents like that make champions worthy of being champions. So, 100%.
Also,
shout out to them.
We're not going to talk about them much, maybe in the post-game show, but Nathan Ordaz, I despise you, but you're a phenomenal player. Like, you're a player and a half, man. I despise you. I genuinely despise you. I don't want to see your face ever again, but you're a player and a half.
He reminds me of how I felt about Fafa Picault on opposite teams. I hated playing against him, but now that he's on my team, I feel pretty good about it. Natalia says, you said it, Zora, Redondo did good. I will be honest. The moment he has in the first half, right at the end of the first half, where he has an opportunity to put it in the back of the net, make it 2-1, and he puts it high, so frustrating in that moment that it wasn't someone else. But over the course of 90 minutes, Redondo did what the team needed him to do. I thought he was really good for the most part. You know, maybe an error or two, but nothing that ended up being catastrophic. And so, hats off to him.
Allowed to have that game-winning moment as well. You know, what a nice benevolent player. You know,
no, it wouldn't be fun if it was easy. But to step in for Sergio Busquets, right? That's huge shoes for him. And he did it well enough for this team to get a 3-1 victory. Also, I want to say our transition defense, hats off to them, because I thought they were excellent tonight. Their only goal, both, and Noah Allen too, those two were phenomenal. The only goal that LA did score was off a corner kick in the first 8 minutes or whatever. So in transition against one of the fastest players in the league and skilled players in the league in Denny Bouanga, against Nathan Ordaz, who you mentioned has a ton of skill. Cengiz Under did nothing in this series. Timothy Tillman was running out of the midfield. Like, all of it, for the most part, swallowed up. And the few times that they weren't, Oscar Ustari was there to bail them out. So it was a phenomenal performance defensively in transition. I don't know if you were watching the game with the Fox Sports broadcast, but if you were, they kept saying, if they keep getting these transitions and Denny Bouanga can keep taking advantage of Chelo Wigan, like, LAFC will score again. And it wasn't going to happen because Maxi Falcone said it's not going to happen.
I'm so glad I watched the CONCACAF commentary because they were an absolute joy to listen to. They kept cheering, and they were so pro into Miami, and I loved it. I loved every minute of it. Oh,
that's
it was
fun.
fantastic.
Well, I'll catch them on the rewatch then. Royman says, my heart is pounding. It's now been 16 minutes, and my heart is still pounding. Absolutely. Anton says, despite the bad calls against us, if we didn't get that handball, I would have thought there was a genuine conspiracy theory.
I had that tweet ready,
Miami.
man. I had that tweet ready. I was ready to send it.
Gabriella says, Allen was amazing. Again, I just mentioned it with the defensive transition, but getting forward and overlapping, underlapping with Jordi Alba, creating a new, different dynamic that LAFC wasn't prepared for. This is exactly what we were talking about in the pregame. It's exactly what we talked about in the postgame show. Last week, it's exactly what we talked about throughout the Toronto series over the weekend. They had to find different ways to tinker in order to open up that back line. Noah Allen ended up being a very impressive way to do that because he is a left back by trade. I know he looks like a center back, but he is a left back by trade. So that little cross over the top, he's got that in his arsenal. Ultimately, whether it's a Federico Redondo goal or an own goal or it's a Noah Allen goal,
It's a goal.
It was a goal that sends Inter Miami to the semifinals. So an amazing moment there. I'm just so proud of him because this is a kid that a year ago wasn't even sniffing the field. He was playing with the B team, and he has turned into one of the best players on this team. I mean, among many great players, but he has made himself a bona fide star, which is the quality you have to be in this 11 right now. He is amazing.
And doesn't even look like he's not the rookie, but the younger player in that backline. He looks like he commands that backline and actually demands attention. It's phenomenal. And he is such an important player for any team because he's asked to do a center-back role. He does it. He's asked to play in the left-back position. He does it. He's asked to play as a center-back who has to do the overlapping runs with Jordi Alba because we can't score goals any other way. He does that. He is so unselfish and such a team player, and his skills, the way he's developing is just a joy to watch. I can't believe this is the same player that was barely getting any minutes last season. And honestly, coaching staff, the way they've handled his progression has been phenomenal. And long may this continue because he's the backup captain, isn't he? It's amazing what he's become. And to stand next to Maxi Falcone and even bring up the question of whether Falcone was the best defender on that pitch, he wasn't. Noah Allen was. It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And by the way, Aaron Long, who I despise as a player because of his time with the U.S. national team, it would have been the second most heartbreaking thing that could happen if he was the one that sent us home. And so Noah Allen said, you're a center back. You scored a goal. Watch what I can do. And he puts in, I think, which was a much fancier goal with the little lob. Then he says, let's be real. Messi carried us the whole first half.
Yeah.
That first goal was insane. You're right. He did. And also, that first goal was insane.
I do not see a problem with that. He's part of the 11. He's our captain. He's the best player in the whole world. This is Messi's team. This is Messi's time to shine in the MLS, and he does it every single time he's on that pitch. Absolutely no complaints about Messi pulling us out of the abyss. Sometimes you need players to inspire you, and when you've got the greatest player of all time to do that on the pitch live, what better way to win games, right? That first goal was honestly the best goal he scored this season. We're not even talking about his numbers right now because he's averaging a goal and a half every game. He probably should have had an assist, another goal with that free kick called off. Well, I can understand why that free kick was called off. But overall, he just dug himself a hole at this. We dug ourselves a hole, and then Messi was like, "Hold my ladder. I'm going to climb this out."
I'm trying to find
I'm
his
glad he plays
stats,
for us, man. I'm glad he plays
but
for us.
SofaScore won't let me. That first goal was magnificent. Again, there's conversation about Kevin De Bruyne, and it reminded me that so many of these superstar players come to the MLS, and they just don't have that fire, that passion. You saw Olivier Giroud can barely get on the field when LAFC is desperate for a goal, and there's no doubt that you get that from not just Messi, but all of Inter Miami star players. So it is
And we did
phenomenal
this
to see
without
that from Messi.
Busquets, man. We did it without Busquets.
I know. Solid Rock says, what a comeback. IDK says, Ustari was clutch too. That last 20 minutes was phenomenal. I think after the first 20 minutes, I was ready. I was like, we might see Drake on Sunday or Saturday. But he was unbelievable in the last 20 minutes. He deserves, not man of the match, because Messi gets that, but he deserves like co-man of the match. Or
You can get a
0.2.
Heron of the Match from the Drive Ping Dialogue, which is a more prestigious award than the Man of the Match.
Miami King says, Ustari, Pat masterpiece. Solid Rock says, Ustari saved us. Solid Rock also says, how did Suarez play 90 minutes? Do you think it was
He
a
was
goal?
good.
Do you think it was a goal?
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Like the one that got called offsides?
Yeah, it was a goal. I don't
thought
see
so
how
too.
it wasn't.
I
Even
thought
the
so too. They
lines
drew
that
the
were
line.
drawn, I have no idea how they were drawn because those were completely wrong.
I agree.
It wasn't a clear and obvious error on the offside. First of all, I don't know why the linesman is calling that when it's that minute of a difference. And if it goes to VAR, VAR should not be calling it. It's absolutely horseshit. Excuse my language. I'm sorry, I got carried away with my emotions, but I could have used a worse word. That was a goal. The free kick can be debated a bit. There was definitely a red card somewhere for that for an LFC player because their
Hollingside probably
left
should have
back,
had
I
one.
think, had a couple of issues.
Yeah,
He had a couple
Hollingside.
of bad fouls, and then I thought overall the refereeing wasn't bad. It was quite even across the board. So like he wasn't calling fouls for Inter Miami, but he was also not calling fouls for LAFC. But there were a couple of issues with the VAR that I thought should have been sorted out, and at least they gave the penalty when it was that obvious. So
I appreciate the fact that it was consistent over two legs.
exactly.
My biggest fear, and I told you this before we went live for the pregame. I wasn't going to say this on the pregame, but my biggest fear was Inter Miami was going to get an early red card that would be very similar to what LAFC got away with last week with Nathan Ordaz, and Inter Miami would get punished for it. And so the fact that it was, I think, consistent refereeing over two legs also plays a big role. Can I just say, we talked about in the pregame show how important it was to get 3 goals being the mindset of this game. You have to get 3 goals because you have to just build in that LAFC is going to get one. That, I think, was how Inter Miami viewed this. And I think after that first 10 minutes, they came out, and I thought they controlled the next 80 until they take the 3-1 lead. And they were just firing, getting guys forward, doing what they needed to do to create 3 goals. It is something that I haven't always seen from this team. And in contrast to what happened in Monterrey last year, I think this is the best development that I've ever seen. I just want to credit the guys and Mascherano for having the team ready to give up a goal and then still fight back, still fight through, still make sure they win this game because that's what made it magical. This is I still can't stop smiling, man. I don't know
This
what to
wasn't
say.
a talent thing. This wasn't a skill thing. This was a mentality thing. Like we genuinely had to challenge ourselves and we had to put ourselves in a bad situation and then see how this team reacts. Many a times we've absolutely crumbled under pressure. I thought as soon as that first goal went in, I had flashbacks from that Monterrey game where I was like, damn, it's going to be 4-1 and we're going to get absolutely humiliated because it doesn't look like this team is up for it. Second half started and I thought to myself again, last game against LAFC, second half, we thought we'd switch it up, but LAFC absolutely took the cake on that one and dominated us in the second half. And we came out and we were like, you know what? Hold my remontada. I'm going to actually bring this team into the semifinals. And every single player on that pitch thought that for Inter Miami. And we started off the second half so well, and got rewarded with 3 goals. Well deserved. We deserve to go through the course of 180 minutes. Absolutely.
George asks a very important question. How are we going to sleep tonight after that? See, on the one hand, I'm going to sleep very good, but on the other hand, I have so much adrenaline right now that it might take a while. I'm sure after this, I'll start watching the other game just to see who else matters. I was watching the LA Galaxy game last night, and I was thinking to myself, this is so dumb because if they don't advance, this will have been so stupid and a waste of my time, and I don't even want to watch this game. And of course, now it was very important, and it was part of my future scouting plans. And so I'm excited to watch this Vancouver game. That will probably calm me down, but for right now, I am so high on adrenaline. It's incredible. Royman says, Mascherano went and hugged Jorge Mas. What a moment. Loved the passion from the coach, as well as, especially after catching some criticism in the first leg and against Toronto. What did you think of Javier Mascherano today?
I thought he was really good. His team was under adversity, and we said in the pregame show that the true test for Javier Mascherano is going to be how he reacts to adversity. He knew exactly what changes to make. That tweak of putting Allende up top and driving Messi on the right was absolutely a masterstroke, because from there on, we dominated that game. He had to make a change with Yannick Bright. He could have gone with the defensive change. He brought on Benjamin Kramaski. I thought Kramaski, as soon as he came on, absolutely sparked something. He was involved in stuff, even though not directly, but indirectly, there were things going on in and around him that allowed us to play much more effectively in that final third. Then he was about to bring on Fafa Picault when we needed a goal, but he saw that Lionel Messi got the penalty, scored, switched it up, brought Aviles, who played as a number 6 in a defensive midfield position, brought on Lujan to shore up the defense even further, made the right changes throughout. I thought he was absolutely spot on today. The best game he's managed for Inter Miami so far. I thought Mascherano was 10 out of 10.
Yeah, I think having the mindset, not the mindset, having the tactical new to bring your guys in over the course of the last week and say, we're going to watch the film about what happened against LAFC in LA, and we're going to say, this wasn't working, this wasn't working, this wasn't working, and we need 3 solutions. And when one's not working, we're going to go to the next one. And that's exactly what happened. I think Jordi Alba is the perfect example of that. To start this game, he wanted to get high and wide like he normally does. They took it away because Sergi Palencia was not leaving his back line. Very disciplined performance from him based on the game plan. So Jordi Alba starts coming into the midfield, getting on the ball. You saw that in the second half of the first half, making some things happen, helped in transition. I thought he was a big part of regaining the initiative, going forward and recontrolling the ball so that we could sort of pitch them back against their own net and start, really putting the pressure on them. And then in the second half, you start seeing him combine with Noah Allen down that left side. It was 3 different ways to attack the same problem that we didn't have a week ago. And so I'm so proud, impressed maybe more like it, of the coaching staff and the players for getting together and saying we need multiple solutions to this problem, because if we can't figure it out, we don't have time to just ram it down their throats till it works. We need different solutions. Incredible from Javier Mascherano.
He figured out the Messi problem. The first game, the biggest problem Messi had was going central constantly, and we were absolutely clogged up in the middle with no space to go. He's like, Messi, there's space on the right, go enjoy yourself there. And Messi took on like 5 players on the right-hand side, beat every single one of them, and just started putting in balls into the box one after the other. It was very similar to what we did against Toronto. This time things actually came off and we got the goals in. I know there was so much negativity after that Toronto game, but both you and I saw something in that game that made us think, you know what, there's still hope, there's still positivity, because you can see what we're trying to do here. And the fact that Javi Mascherano was able to change things around not only before the game, but even during the game, constantly seeing how the game is playing out and what needs to be improved, where it needs to change. You called it. Tadeo Allende was going to be an option as in the center for someone who would put the balls into the box and he would get the headers in. He had a couple of those opportunities. He made himself a target man when Suarez had to drop deep. And I think that's another different aspect that Tadeo Allende brings. He may not have had the most brilliant game, didn't score a goal as such, but I thought he was still very important to offer that target man up front on the 9. And just just the understanding of how the game is proceeding. Didn't lose our heads when we went down 1-0, even though they were constantly pressuring us and catching us on the break. Stuck to our guns, stuck to the game plan, tweaked a few things around in offense, and he could have easily taken Chelo Wigan off in the first half if he wanted to. Stuck to it, decided to continue to play the way he had planned it out, trusted his instinct, and did what Tata Martino was unable to do, take us to the semi-finals. And from here on, he has to go and win it.
Well, and specifically the Allende positioning I thought was so interesting because when Yannick Bright has to come out, he hurt himself. I'm not sure if it was hamstring or his groin or something, or his hip flexors, but he hurt himself. He was hobbling. He couldn't go much longer. He had to take him out. He puts Kramaski in, but instead of making a like-for-like sub in the midfield, he actually puts Tadeo Allende central, puts Kramaski out wide, and I thought you didn't skip a beat, really. The late subs with Aviles and Lujan after you get the third goal, I think makes sense. I would have liked to bring on Fafa Biko at that point because you're basically saying we're going to shell up and we want an outlet going forward. And you even saw a moment where Suarez had the ball going forward and he didn't have any pace and Messi was exhausted. So it kind of just fluffed out into nothing. I would have loved to see Fafa come on or, Robert Taylor or Leo Alfonso, someone with pace to get the ball going forward. But I'm talking about 87th minute, right?
Yeah, so I understand, but I was okay with that, and I would have actually preferred that defensive substitution that he made because
I'm saying both.
Yeah, both would have been important because I feel like the emotions were too high. So if you only went with a offensive substitution, that would have been like, I can't take this anymore. My heart can't take it anymore.
Just to be clear, I'm saying. Yeah. Because you decide to go with the defensive substitutions, you want pace over the top so that if you all of a sudden you're the team that can shell up and hit in transition. But with Suarez and Messi, you're not going to hit in deep transition like that. George says Noah Allen played out of his mind. IDK says I don't ever want to see Cello again. He was getting cooked by Denny Bouanga. It really made me question the decision to play him. But ultimately, I'm not going to criticize anyone right now because I am excited.
We'll talk about it in the post-game show because I'm sure we're going to get into it. And when we watch the game again, we're going to have a much better understanding of what actually went down, who played well and who was poor. But right now, I think everyone deserves the plaudits. They stuck to their guns and got us the win. So don't want to criticize anybody right now.
Carlos says, ignore my common history. I never doubted for a second. Let's go. Luis says, the moment that Benha came in, the dynamic changed. Benha played well. I don't think we've seen Benha play that well off the bench. Maybe this year. He's had some nice moments when he started, but off the bench, I thought this was his most impressive performance. Really was able to get involved, really clean on the ball, was able to bring some much-needed energy and really commanded that side. I actually thought defensively down that right side we got better when he came on, and then you started seeing Denny Bouanga move to the other side and eventually into that central partnership with when they're down and they're trying to get the big moment.
Yeah, I thought he played really well.
Ryman says, who did they take out for Crema? It was Yannick Bright because he had some sort of injury. Ash says Falcone was getting slapped around, but no cards. Miami King says Allen is great. Nuno says, give the team a week to rest. Let's come back to this one because I want to talk about where Inter Miami goes from here, but I'm still too excited about the win. Taran, again, my only concern was Cello. I don't want to see him again in the semis. Again, I don't even want to go there because I'm so excited right now. Mario says, Noah, man of the match. Redondo played the best game of his life. That may have been the second best game Redondo's played. And I know he made mistakes, but I still think that might have been his second best game at Inter Miami. He had the game where he scored 2 goals last year, I believe, against Chicago. But I think he did what he needed to do in the middle of the field. That's, I think, what we want from him. And when you do make his mistake, if it's a touch mistake like that, your teammates can help you out. It's when you're in a poor position, that's when it really becomes hard. And he didn't do that today. I thought he did what he needed to do, honestly.
Yeah, I think he showed what talent he actually has and what he brings to this team. My biggest positive takeaway from Redondo's performance was that he took initiative. He realized when Yannick Bright came off that he's the midfielder who needs to drive things forward, and he took chances. He took risks. He had some really nice runs with the ball. He was passing into the final third, and I thought he had a really, really good game. Very positive overall, and made a difference.
Luis says Noah's the player to me. He says he can't wait And now that you add Obando and Baltasar, there's more depth and energy and creativity coming to this team. The biggest fear I had was something similar to last year when you add a huge piece like Matias Rojas, but he doesn't come in until after the CONCACAF Champions Cup, and so you don't really have a chance for him to help make an impact. That's not going to happen now because Inter Miami advances. Both Baltasar and Obando will be available in 2 weeks or maybe 13 days when this next game happens. I believe it's going to be on the 23rd, but maybe that hasn't been announced yet. Circus Fun says we made it to the semifinal. This is one of the best achievements in Inter Miami history. Like, very few MLS teams at all can say they've made it to the semifinals of the CONCACAF Champions Cup. Go ahead.
No, it's not over yet. Kobe Bryant said it's not over yet. Yeah. We're there. It won't matter if we get knocked out in the semifinal. It will not matter. This night will have absolutely no significance if we lose in the semifinals. This is just the beginning of something special. We have to tie the bow properly and finish the job, because otherwise it makes for naught, right? We can enjoy it as fans, absolutely. Enjoy this night, take in this moment, because these moments don't come back again. But the important thing is we have to win the final. Have to win the final. Take this momentum into the semifinal. Take that momentum into the final. By the way, if we get to the final, it's at Chase Stadium, and we're winning it.
Hopefully. Just not confirmed yet. Can I quote Kobe Bryant for a second? Job's not done.
Job's not done.
Job's not done. No, but that doesn't mean you shouldn't.
Job's not done.
It doesn't mean you shouldn't be completely exhilarated with what happened tonight.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
I know I am. This is an incredible moment. And by the way, this is why we do everything. Not just us, but this is why the team works. This is why they bring in superstars. This is why they go out and try and schedule friendlies in the preseason that are going to prepare them for this moment. This is why they've played so much over the first couple months of the season, because they wanted the chemistry and unity and cohesiveness to be there for these moments. This conversation could have been so different if it wasn't for a handball, but that's how sports go sometimes. You take advantage of the big moment. LAFC, I thought, took advantage of some big moments, both in the first and in the second game, and Inter Miami was able to answer with the call by putting on the amount of pressure they needed to in order to win. Luis says, I have a friend from England that actually tells me all the time that MLS is underrated. He watched today, and he said the Premier League should be as physical as the MLS is. Any thoughts on that?
Oof, it is very physical. And I don't think it's just the MLS, the CONCACAF. CONCACAF is a different gravy, man. A lot of the times these players come in from different leagues, especially from Europe, and think that they're going to be able to match the physicality, or it's going to be a walk in the park. Olivier Giroud was on that pitch tonight, and none of his history with France, with his previous clubs, AC Milan, all the clubs he's played for, doesn't matter. Hugo Lloris obviously is a goalkeeper, so the physicality aspect doesn't really come into play, but like it's not as easy as people make it out to be, man. It's a difficult league to play in. Ask Maxi Falcone. That massive guy got knocked around a few times and just had to deal with it. Just had to brush it off and deal with it.
Got kicked in the face by Lionel Messi.
Exactly.
George says this is number one, and he was at the Open Cup match in Cincinnati. I will say that Open Cup match has been my number one favorite Inter Miami game, and so I won't crown this tonight, but this might be my favorite Inter Miami game ever. Punches should have been thrown. No apologies, says Ash. Ash is clearly fired up.
Honestly, I think David Beckham should have just come on the pitch and punched one of the LAFC players, because you know what? He's got history as an LA Galaxy player, and nobody's going to fine him. He's David Beckham. It'll be fine.
How many players in LAFC should have been sent off in this game?
At least 5.
At least. No, realistically, 2 or 3, probably.
2 or 3, yeah.
Sir Octi says there was easily like 3 reds for LAFC in this series. Well, in the whole series, yeah, because Ordaz definitely should have got one in the first game. And multiple disallowed goals for Inter Miami.
4, I think, over the course of the entire leg, right? Tie.
Miami King says Miami is too hard. We're fighting the referee system, but we still win. Dude, I'm so happy right now. I don't even know what to say. Honestly. Mario says Aviles over Falcone, more pace. I don't know how you watch this performance and say that, but Falcone was awesome.
Special tonight.
I know I said this already, but the hair, the attitude, the way he runs around, Like, it was fine. He was a good center back, and you're doing good things for my team, so I was happy with it. But today was the first time I was like, I really like all the extra stuff. I think it really works. So I think I'm becoming a real believer.
I think there was this moment where he was chasing the ball back, and I think Denny Buanga was behind him on his tail, and you could see he was struggling to keep up, and he was struggling to get to the ball, and he got to it. I was like, oh, Falcon, you're so great. You're the best. I really enjoyed his performance, man. He must have had some flaws for sure, but overall it looked fantastic.
It's My Memo says, what are the odds of Miami hosting the final as of now? We need that home field advantage. So here's what I will say. Inter Miami right now, and this Vancouver Pumas game is just started. They will host the semifinals, the second leg of the semifinals. So they will get sort of home field advantage. They right now have a 1-point advantage over the course of the round of 16 and quarterfinals, and over both teams that advanced on the other side of the bracket, which is Tigres and Cruz Azul. They have a 1-point advantage. So they have to continue to have more points over the course of the semifinal if they want to host the final. So if they win both games of the semifinal, they will host the final. They control their own destiny, but it is not decided yet. They still have work to do. That's why last week, if they had beaten LAFC on the road, it would have been huge. But because everyone else drew, it ended up Inter Miami still kept a 1-point advantage, but there's still work to do. And of course, in the semifinals, whatever happens on the other side, maybe they both draw and then one win is enough. But it will. I'm sorry. I'm so excited right now. That's how it will work, and we'll go into more detail on the next one. George says, no one's expecting the overlapping center back. That was so fun to watch, and for Noah Allen, it was great. The Real Kino says, spam the likes for La Remontada, guys. Please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't. What a fun game. Unbelievable. Cringe's instant classic. It was great. Nuno says,
can't
Cello
believe
was...
we won, man. How did we win this game? Oof. Honestly, I don't think I had the belief that we'd actually win, and we did it. We actually did it. Oof.
Gabriella says the Argentines played like it was the World Cup final.
Well, there was only what? Ustari and Messi as Argentines on the pitch.
Redondo,
yeah, correct.
Toto Aviles was tackling people like it was the World Cup final.
He was playing like a number 6. He was like, come at me, I'm going to stop you.
Okay, guys, there's so many chats. I am so grateful to have this experience with you guys, because as fun as nights like this are with Inter Miami, being able to share them with you guys and come on and just be able to smile on camera for 42 minutes is so fun. I really appreciate you guys. I'm going to spend the next half an hour reading everything. Sor, I know you have a small announcement to make, so I will let you get to that before we wrap it up. But again, I want to thank you guys. I hope you enjoyed this moment. We will be back soon with a full game recap, and we'll talk more about this game. But Sor, floor is yours.
So this game was so great, and it gave me such an emotional roller coaster that I've decided that for the next 13 to 14 games, I'm going to take a sabbatical. Now, in all seriousness, guys, I'm going to be away on a holiday, on a vacation, and I will not have any connectivity or internet during that time. So unfortunately, I won't be participating in any of the next 13 episodes, I believe. That's what it is. But it's only a small vacation, and I'll be back very, very soon. Scotty, please don't get comfortable without me. And guys, don't forget, I will be back very, very soon. And honestly, if this would have ended in defeat, I would have absolutely hated to go. But the fact that we won the game, and now I get to come back for that second leg of the semi-final, where hopefully we will be celebrating our path into the final, is just the best way to come back. So guys, I will see you very, very soon. Until then, it's going to be business as usual. Episodes will be coming in. Scotty will be doing his thing and missing me, hopefully, from time to time.
I was going to say, you might get Drake calendared, man. Like, you're a good goalkeeper. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. But we're going to bring on some guests, and you might get Drake calendared. So,
listen, man, if I have to be benched, I'm willing to earn my place back, because as we all know, Nobody does awards better than me. So you're eventually going to have to bring me back off the bench. Don't worry.
I don't know what to say. We'll miss you. I kind of want to just keep talking about this game, but I do know we have to wrap it up. So, guys, once again, thank you so much for being a part of this, as always, and I do mean this from the bottom of my heart. I love Inter Miami, but my fandom has grown doing this and interacting with you guys and being able to do everything we do here. It's such a pleasure and such a joy, and that's because of you guys. So I really, it's wonderful. I appreciate it so much, and we will see you guys soon. Well, I'll see you guys soon with a full game recap, and we'll bring on a guest to help me do that, and we'll do all the awards and stuff. But there will be more from this game because I'm still jazzed up. Guys, have a wonderful night. Try and get some sleep, but if you want to, scout the next game to help you calm down, because it is now on Vancouver Pumas, I encourage you to do that. But if not, enjoy your night, sleep well, enjoy your week. We'll see you soon. And once again, thank you for being here. Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in. Do us a favor and hit that like and subscribe button. Since our first viewer, sharing this with you all has been the very best part. So from the beginning until the end, thank you for being a part of this and have a wonderful day.